Okay, welcome then to this session on supporting systematic reviews, part 2. We're looking at managing search results on the new EBSCOhost interface following searching in CINAHL and MEDLINE. So this webinar will introduce you to the options that are available now for managing those search results after searching the literature on the aforementioned databases in support of systematic reviews. So we'll look at various options for saving, processing results, including exporting your records, etc. as well. So appreciate most of you probably were on part 1 at some point on one of the 2 that I've run so far. For others, this may be still quite new and you may not have attended previously. So just to introduce myself formally, I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Training Services team based here in the East Midlands in the UK. So glad you could come back to the session for those who were in part 1, and welcome to those who were not in part 1, but would like to see more about the various options for processing search results in the new interface. So in terms of what I plan to cover in this session, I hope that by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to save, download, and share search results. You'll be able to export results in RIS and other formats into your preferred bibliographic software, be it Endnote, RefWorks, etc. You'll be able to save searches for future reference. You'll also be able to create projects and add searches and results to those projects as well. And also you'll be able to find further support for managing searches and results on this new platform. So I'm going to go through a few screenshots initially, just to give you some context to this, and we'll go to the live demonstration in due course. But just to point out some of the key elements, enhancements for this session. So you can see here currently, you can select individual records or 1 to 50 from the results list to add to the save folder. Now that figure is going to change. There is a process going on to increase that number, but it is 50 currently, as has been the case with Classic, but that is due to increase at some point in the near future. So you can select from there, of course, and that will save your records to the default folder, the save folder, which is on the dashboard. You can also use the bookmark icon for individual records as well, or for the complete list to save those records. So the bookmark icon is the option to save records. Now, once you're in the save folder, just a note here, and of course you can see the link there highlighted under my dashboard. This is where those results will be saved to by default, essentially. And you have the option there to create an account, to create a MyEBSCO account, or to sign in. Now, if you work in the NHS in England, then you should be automatically synchronizing with your folder when you authenticate with Open Athens, when you access CINAHL, MEDLINE, etc. So again, there is automatic single sign-on, EBSCO single sign-on, so that the folder would be already signed into, and then you wouldn't have to go through the process of creating an account, etc. So for those who are outside of England and you don't have a MyEBSCO folder account, then you can create an account from the screen, as it were. There are other options to do that as well. But if having saved records, you go to the save folder, you'll have this prompt before you to remind you that if you want to view those records beyond the session, then you need to be signed in to that account, as you see there. Okay, you can also download the records data as well, whether you're signed in or not. You can download the records as shown here with this icon, and you can also do that for selected records or the complete list if necessary. Okay, that will then give you the option to choose the appropriate format. So you may prefer a PDF, which is the default setting, or you may go for Word. And I know that was requested for many years, and that's been implemented in recent years, and also is available on the new EBSCOhost. CSV is also there, as is BibTeX, which I know is quite popular among the academic library services as well. So there are other options that you can choose from in order to download the metadata, the record, the bibliographic information as appropriate there. And then you can click through to the download option and open up that document. Now you can also go through the process of selecting records to share as well. So you can see the share icon highlighted there. That will then open up another box here, and that will give you the option to share with Google Drive or OneDrive if preferred. And in addition to that, you have the email option as well, and that will give you the option to email, again, the metadata, the record. And if that record has full text access, such as PDF or online full text, those records will be sent as attached files as well. So you will receive the full text documentation. So if you are running a search, if you're supporting a systematic review, and you want to share some information with those involved with that review, then you can forward the articles including the full text, directly through the share option there, and obviously send it to their inbox, etc., or to your own if you're reviewing that material later. In addition, of course, we do support, we still have ongoing support for the exporting of a large quantity of records. So again, the figure is still 25,000 as it was and is in Classic. So you can export from the result list up to 25,000 records in one sitting. Okay, that does require signing into my EBSCO. Again, if you work in the NHS in England, you have EBSCO single sign-on, so you shouldn't have to go through the process there. But if you're outside the NHS and you don't have EBSCO single sign-on, you will be prompted to sign in to your My EBSCO account to complete the process. You can also use the tools menu for adjacent to the records to also do a direct export for records as well, individual records. So you'll see the cite option there. So it will give you an option to copy the citation, but also export it in the choice of to a choice of software such as RefWorks, Endnote, Web, and so on. Again, you'll have copies of this in the PowerPoint, which I'll send to you. But again, we'll get to the live demonstration of this in a moment. Okay, and Pamela just commented here, I was saving to the saved area yesterday. However, I was not offered either the bookmark or the tick boxes. Interesting. Okay, well, perhaps we need to see some screenshots of that. But we'll go through the live site in a moment, and perhaps you can clarify that specifically as we go through it live as well. Now, also with the search history, so this is now the new search history, which can be opened up and displayed on the result list. You can download it in a variety of formats, including PDF, Word, and CSV as well. So again, the search history can be opened, and then you can select the list of sets, and you can download up to 500 lines, basically 500 sets from this screen, as it were. Okay, so again, we'll see some of this live in a moment. So again, the download option presents you with a choice of formats. So PDF by default, you've got Word there, CSV if you prefer a more tabular display of the search history, and also, of course, RTF there, which we'll also look at today when we download the search itself. So just again, a heads up of some of the elements, some of the features, functionality for the new interface regarding those elements. So we'll go to the live demonstration and go through that. So what I'll do here is I'm going to go through to my platform, and I'll be viewing CINAHL at this stage. So I'm going to click share and then go to the CINAHL results page, as it were. So again, you'll see here I've got the results page, the advanced search page. I've got the multiple rows displayed, the 3 rows initially displayed there. And as you can see, I've run a search already. So obviously, if I want to focus on the results, I can, hide that in the background and look at my results below. So I can do that, or I can just keep that open as needed. So the first thing that we're going to look at is essentially the saving of records. So again, this may also refer to Pam's question or comment just now. So I've got the result list here. I've got 182 records from this search that I've just run based on what we saw earlier in part 1. And I'm going to now look at saving these. Now, I can, of course, go through to individual records, use the bookmark icon. So you see the save icon here for each record listed. Okay, so I can go through the listing. I can view the abstracts and decide whether or not I want this record, etc., and so on. Okay, so I can go through to save individual records, and you can see you get the little bar across the top right that says you've saved some items here. Now, at the moment, I'm not signed into my EBSCO. Again, this will differ if you're in NHS England. You will already be signed into the account, but we'll talk about that again in a moment. So obviously, with a larger quantity of records, rather than look through them individually at this time, we may want to select the entire listing of records. So we can go to the tick box to select these records here, and then we can choose the drop down, and you can see you can select 1 to 50. Now I'm viewing at the moment only 10 per page, so I can increase the view to 50 here. As I said, there are future plans to increase that number in due course. Okay, so watch this space for that. We've had a lot of feedback about that in the past. So again, that is being seriously considered now. So you may see changes in the early new year in terms of the quantity that you can save directly from the result list, and it'll be it should be way above 50. Okay, so again, we'll go to the list here. So I can select these 50. and I can save those. Okay, so I can click the save icon. Okay, and then get confirmation that 50 items have been saved, but I also get prompted to sign into my EBSCO to keep them. Okay, if you don't have EBSCO single sign on here. So if you want to know where they are, just go to the save folder on my dashboard. Okay, and you'll see those 50 records are listed here. Okay, now it's also possible at this stage to go through this list, and you can remove them or otherwise, etc. And you can also at this stage download them from here as well. So you've got the download option here. Again, the choice of formats, PDF, Word, etc. So I want to save this as a Word document, then I can download from here, and then I can save that file as it were. Let me see. I'll just save it to downloads for now, and then I'll do that. And if I open up this file, I can just display or share with you what this looks like, and you can see that now hopefully with the contents listing there. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the records displayed, and where appropriate links will be provided as well. So a link to this article, etc. Okay, so again, that's the Word format which was just used to download this, and again, BibTeX there, XML is there, and so on. So that is the metadata only, essentially. Okay, so I can also share this list as well. So again, you can see I'll do a direct export. We may come back to that in a moment. So what I'm going to do now is just go back a step here, go back to my results page. So that is the initial saving of records from the result list. Okay, so again, you still have the option to download. If you select this list, you can still download from this menu as well. So you have the option to download directly from the result list here, as you see, and you can do the same in the save folder as well. If you want to save the records, simply save them, then you will save them and they'll be viewable in the saved area of the dashboard, as it were. And again, you would select the save icon there. Okay, you will see that only 50 items can be selected at one time. Again, that's going to increase in due course. Okay, you can of course go into individual records as well. You can click through to the detailed record, and you can also save there. This one's already been saved. As you see, it's now blue. So if you unsave that, then you'll go back to the original format, as it were. So you can save an individual record here. You can also, of course, view the cite tool here, and this is where you can copy the citation, and you can see the citation here. We've got Harvard referencing, so that's my default format on this demo. It may be different for you where you are. You've got Chicago, Vancouver, and so on, different reference styles. If you use APA databases like PsycArticles or PsycInfo, you've also got APA 7th edition as well. So you have that tool. Again, you can use the share icon there to save in Google Drive or OneDrive, and also create a link to that record as well. So this is the individual record we're looking at the moment, and you can also email it as well by this tool here. So again, there are obviously options to process individual records as well as the complete listing. So again, the download option is there. So for this record, I can download the metadata, the bibliographic information in a choice of formats there. So go back to the result list. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've got export options as well. So you can go through this listing, and for example, I can select this list here, and I have the option to use the cite tool. So for those of you who don't want to use the other export option, which I'll show you in a moment, you can export from here. So again, I've got these 50 items, and I can choose the RIS format, RefWorks, Endnote, etc. here as well. So I can just export, and that will create the file, which I can then save, etc. And then I can import those records into my preferred software. So it could be Mendeley, could be Endnote, etc. Could be Zotero, RefWorks, and so on. So that option is there from this list. But you do have the actual exporting tool. So again, if I reselect these, you'll see from the drop down arrow we can export up to 25,000 records. So I've only got 182 in this case, but there's no minimum, but the maximum is 25,000 in one session. So if I click this link here, now it will prompt me, because I'm not signed in and I don't have EBSCO single sign-on, I will need to sign in here to my EBSCO account. We generally recommend users signing in immediately they authenticate into the database. So outside of EBSCO single sign-on, we would encourage users to sign in, and then this is already taken care of. But as I'm about to export, I am prompted to sign in. If I don't have my EBSCO account, I can create one here. I'm sure many of you have seen this before. We do support Google sign-in as well, by the way. First name is mandatory, last name is optional, email address, you create the password, and then note the criteria, and also agree to the consent form for the collection of specific data from EBSCO. So again, you can check the privacy policy if you have any questions about that, and advise users to do the same. But once you've created that account, then you can use it straight away. Just click sign in and you can enter your username, etc. And I'm hoping I'm still signed into my VPN at this stage. I always have to go through another step here. Yep, so it now presents you with the export results form, and you'll notice that you will receive an email with a link to download the metadata once the export is complete. Okay, and the number of results exported can be up to 25,000. Like mine could be 182 or more, or even less. But the upper limit is 100,000 results in a 24-hour period. Okay, so you can't export more than 100,000 records in a 24-hour period. So if you're doing multiple searches and so on. Okay. And then you add, of course, your email address. If you have additional recipients, you can add them there as well. And then you choose your format. So by default, XML is the default format, but it can be switched to RS format or BibTeX if preferred, or if you prefer a CSV document, then you can choose that format as well, and also view that in Excel. So once you've decided the format, you're satisfied with that, it's going to the right recipient, then you can click send, and then you'll receive a link as confirmed on this screen that will arrive in your inbox to download the metadata, the bibliographic information, and that will be valid for up to 7 days. So you can use that link within 7 days. After that, it will expire. You need to go through the process again. So it's valid for 7 days. Okay. So that is exporting directly from this results list page, as it were. Okay. So again, if you go into the save folder, just jump back there under my dashboard and look at these records. And now you notice this figure has increased because I am signed in. I've got previously saved records here. So it's just added basically those recent additions to this listing. Okay, I'm just going to see if there's any questions there briefly. Okay, not yet. So again, I'll come to projects in a moment, because this kind of justifies why you would create a custom folder, why you would have a project folder to differentiate between previous searches and records that you saved. But at this stage, there is still the option to view this list. You can sort by newest to oldest currently, and then you can go through and you can add, select records, or you can delete some here. Sorry, not here. I mean, you can export these. So for example, these two, I can just export using, again, this option. So this is for a direct export, creating the RS file, etc. Or if you're exporting to RefWorks and so on, which I've not tried doing before, so I don't have an account to log in there. But you can see that that does work, and also Endnote Web also will take you to the preferred platform, as it were. Okay, so directly into it. So again, you have the direct export feature within the save folder as well. And again, downloading is also available here. So that's basically the saving options and the sharing, and also the viewing there of records, etc. But what I want to do now is just go back and check my records, and then consider the use of the projects folder. Okay, so the projects folder is, in fact, before I do that, we would already obviously look at saving our search. So we won't do that just yet. We'll look at saving our search. Now, again, to save a search, you'll see if I, unhide the search history, as it were, You see it displayed there. I'll resort in the order, the sequence of the search itself. So again, this is what related to adult cancer patients experiencing fatigue, we're looking at meditation for the improvement of quality of life, etc. So again, we've got the results displayed below, and we may want to download the search history initially, so we can do that. So we've got the download option here. So again, it's the same icon that you saw for downloading articles. And also to clarify, by the way, with the search, we've got the set number, of course, we've got the query string with the syntax. I'm using an asterisk here, hash wildcard there for tumor, XB field code, that's the title and abstract searching, MH is the CINAHL heading, etc., and so on. And then the search options are also clearly indicated. So proximity searching, apply equivalent subjects is the expander, if applicable. It depends on whether there are keyword searches, unqualified keyword searches, and so on. And then the results are displayed, so the hit count for each set, and also the database. We're also looking at CINAHL, and as I think we saw this in part one, we have the tools menu to edit the search, so you can make amendments to the search as needed as well, okay, before you download or save it, etc. And you can also delete the lines as appropriate. So each of these set numbers has the tools, the kebab as we call it, to edit the search. You can add it to a project. We'll talk more about that in a moment, and delete as necessary. Okay, but in terms of downloading this search strategy, I can do that on this screen. So I can select the sets, select the download icon, and then I'm presented with the search, and also, more importantly, perhaps the format. So again, PDF is the default format. You can leave it as is and download, or if preferred, you can go for Word or CSV. Now I'm going to go for RTF actually, because that tends to, at the moment, present the search with multiple sets on one page, as opposed to one set at a time on individual pages, which Word does. I'm not sure what that is. I think we flagged that with our product management team, but I would recommend RTF initially, or initial going for the table format, which would be CSV, and then you can download from here. So I'm going to just save this. I'm going to put that in my downloads link just so that I can know where to find it if I need to. And then I can open this up just to display it on screen. And hopefully you can see that now. And it gives me the EBSCO export file, which is the downloaded search history, and the set number, the user entered query, so my search string, my initial search string, and then you get the expanded query. So if I scroll down, you'll see the expanded query is really explaining, explicitly stating what S2 and S1 are. So you can see here, this relates to the subheadings combined. So the subheadings and the XB field code, the title abstract search as well. So basically you have the query, the set numbers combined, and then you have the expanded query below that. You have the date it was run, the time, the hit count, the search mode, the expander, the interface, EBSCOhost, of course, and the database CINAHL. So clearly detailed there in this listing. Okay, so if we scroll further, again, each of the sets are given, and then you end up with the final set there, and again, the combined search query there. Okay, so again, that's detailed. Okay, so if I go back now, if I just minimize that also, and that one as well, then I'll cancel this. And also to point out to you as well, you'll see within the search history here, let's untick this for now, you'll also see we've got the filter for the past 10 years, and also adults as well, since we look at adult cancer patients. So that's clearly detailed in the search history here. Okay, now you have the other option as well. Apart from downloading the complete search history, you also have the option to save the search above the result list, and you'll see the tools menu again, and you can save the search here. This presents this form. It defaults to the final query string, as it were, and the syntax, so we can remove this and replace it with a more appropriate rendering, as it were. So again, I've used this before, so, and I'll put this December 25. Okay, so 2025, so we know which one it is. If I got it saved somewhere else, I can add comments here. So I've been asked, can you add comments to these searches? Well, yes, you can. You can add a description. You add free text here, up to 300 characters and so on. And so again, you can add, if it's for a particular department, personnel, or you have some other thoughts as to how you might edit the search, whatever it might be, you can do that there. Okay, and then the actual query is combined here, which you can copy that to the clipboard to rerun it quickly if you want to look at some of the search results there, or want to share that with another user, etc. And then the subqueries below as well are also given there. So once you've done that, just scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save. Okay, and then you get confirmation that the save search has been created, and you close that. Okay, now that save search, as you might guess, of course, is stored in the save folder under my dashboard on the left-hand panel. So click that there. Then we come back to our records that we saved earlier, and then we have the searches here. So you've got a number of different searches I saved from previous sessions, as you can see there, and we have this current one listed, and that does give you obviously the time it was saved, the results generated, so the combined search results, and then the filters included, and the search mode and expander if applicable. Okay, there is the option under tools here to check the search details again, but what I also want to show you here now is the ability to add to the project. Okay, now we'll come back to that perhaps, but in recent activity you also have the search history here as well. So again, this is another way in which you can download the search. So you can see here, I've got the search history in reverse chronological order. So we finished up with S15, the search set there, but I can go to the option to download, to view oldest. So the sequence, and you can now see the sequence S1, S2, and so on. Again, with the query string, the search mode, etc., and the number of results per set, etc. So I can go through any of these. Okay, there's a tools menu. You can view the search details, etc. You can delete if necessary, and you can view more searches here. Okay, so I can increase the number of lines. I can show up to 50 lines here. So that means I can see all 15 sets displayed here. So from this menu, you can also download the search here. So I can do this, select download, and choose my format. Okay, from here. So you can do it both from the results screen now, which was generally preferred and was requested, as it were, because that's what you can do in the classic interface. You can now do it in the new interface, but you also have this option, which is tracking the search history. And you can also, delete sets as well. You can select set numbers and delete them from here if appropriate as well, or you could delete the complete search from this menu as well. So again, those options are there. Okay, so going back to the search in the save folder. Okay, what we can also do here, as we got more and more searches, more and more records saved, we might want to create our own custom folder. So we call these projects now in the new EBSCOhost. So what I can do here, I can select this search, choose the tools menu, and I can add it to a project. Now again, you will need to be signed into a MyEBSCO account for using this, so you'll be prompted to sign in when you use this for the first time if you are not already signed in. And then you choose the project. So I've created a number of projects in the past. I've got this one here as well. So I can just default to this one, or I can just create a new one. So for the benefit of demonstration, I'll create a new one here. So I go in, click new project, add the name. So again, it's going to be more or less the same as I've chosen today. I'll put December 2025 again, so I can differentiate that from the previous one. As there may be a due date, a deadline you're working towards to complete the search or to review it, you may run other iterations, so you may have another month or so. So you can specify the deadline to complete. So I'm going to choose the 30th of January, and I can add more information, free text here, about the search, about the strategy, about who it's for, whatever, and then create it. So that means if I go to projects now under my dashboard, you'll see I've got a number of different projects already there, and I can go in and I can view the project here. And at the moment, I've no record saved. I just have the search saved here. Okay, it does give me the option to delete this as well, by the way, and I can go in and edit the search details. So that's saved in a projects folder. So what I could do also is then go back to my save folder. I can select some of these records or all of them. So I think we can only do up to 50. So obviously I've mingled these with other searches, but I can other search results, but I can then go in and I can add these to that project. Okay, so I've got 10 so far that I can save. Now, if I want to view more than that, I scroll down and I can show more saved records. So again, we have this option at the moment to view more records here. Okay, so I can then save more or move. So let me just do that now. And then now I've now got 30 items. I can now add to that project and add them now. I get confirmation on the top right, this green bar appears. And if I go to projects now and back to my adult cancer patients meditation project, and now you see those 30 records are saved there. Okay, so there's a possibility, of course, of then saving your search and saving records and then creating the project and then adding them to that project folder so you can keep them, distinct from other searches and records saved and so on. Okay, so again, the projects is here. Okay, and by the way, for those who have not yet switched to the new interface, you may have had previously saved searches, articles in custom folders that you set up. So those are not migrated automatically. You do need to get this report. Okay, so get the report here, and then you can download a spreadsheet, a CSV document, sorry, an Excel spreadsheet of what you have had previously in your save folder. Okay, so sorry, in your save searches in the save folder and saved articles will be migrated, but not the actual custom folder itself. Okay, I think we had a link to a document about that in the previous session. I'll check that out. But again, just to remind you that this prompt is there to download that document. Okay, so again, it's just a reminder of that. Also on this screen, you can create a project. Once you come into projects here, you can create a new project here with the plus sign. So you can create a project from the outset here, and you may want to do that first before saving anything. So what you can also do, and I'll delete some of these, by the way, I'll delete this one, for example. I can delete also these projects here. Okay. And I can just select them all and delete all if I prefer. So I can delete a series of projects here as well if I need to. So for example, this one's an old one. I can just select it and delete from this list. Okay. So I'm just going to see if there's any other comments or questions. Yes. So Tracy's just asked, can we save our searches directly into projects rather than just the save option? Yes, there is an option to do that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to my search, okay, at this stage. So I'm going to go back here. So back to my original search history. I'm just going to resort that again for you. So you do have the option. So for example, here, this S15 under tools, I can add this to the project here. So I can click add to project here, and then I can choose the project. So again, I can add it here. Now I've already saved the search. It might confirm that I've saved it previously. No, not with that. It does with articles. If there's articles that you saved previously, it will tell you that this has been saved before. Okay, so just saved from this search history using the tools menu and select add to project here. Okay. You can also do the same with the articles as well. So if you select these articles here, rather than save them to the save folder, you can send them or add them directly to the project here. So again, this would save time essentially, because at the moment, what I've done before, I've saved the search to the save folder, I've saved articles to the save folder, then I've gone to the save folder, and then I've added them to a project. So rather than doing that, I could just create the project initially, and then, or better still, save the search from here. Then again, you would add to a project or create a new one from this menu. So really, you don't need to go into the save folder as much. You can just do it, and then you go into your projects folder, and then you'd see the project itself and any searches will be listed here. And you can see this is the search string I just saved. Okay. So it's the same search essentially. Okay. So again, you can do it that way. So I hope that answers it. Okay. Okay, yeah, that question from Pamela. Will the most recent project be listed first, or will we have to scroll to the bottom? So yes, that's a good point. I don't think we have the search function, the option to, yeah, so I think that may change. I know with the recent activity, for example, the search history can be displayed, so you see the newest or the oldest, etc. here. Viewed records, I think that's the same functionality. Yes, the oldest or newest. So there may be some future development when you can do that. So at the moment, when you go to projects, you can see it does give me the most recent project here. There is a due date, of course, as well, which they may differ. And I can sort the projects themselves to the oldest or newest, but going within the project folder itself, it's really the most recent record, recent search that's given. But bear in mind with a project, it's likely to be, okay, there could be several iterations of the search that you do, or it might just simply be one search, one final search with the records. So by having a project folder, it's going to make it more manageable than just relying on the save folder where you're grouping multiple records together at the moment and multiple searches here, although that you do have the added advantage of having newest or oldest as well, so you can sort them in sequence. So again, you can see we start off with, you know, the most recent search now is down here somewhere, right? I've got quite a few listed there. Okay, so thanks for those questions. Keep them coming. We still have time, so I appreciate that. And I'll just see if there's anything else here. Okay. So I'm just going to check something else here at this time. So yeah, so projects are really, you know, you can bypass the saved folder essentially by using projects more effectively. Okay, so again, you just need to, you know, you can start out, create the project, and then when that's ready, when you are in the result list, etc., when you are going through, and I'm just going to jump here quickly back to this part, just to these results list, then you can, of course, save directly into that project folder, again, using the icon. So wherever you see the folder icon, that is to add to a project as well. Okay, I think the same is true if you go into, for example, we'll look at this PDF full text here. Just right at it, you'll see the project folder is also here too. So you can view records online, you can read them, and you can also save them to a project directly from here as well. So in this case, you don't need to print, you don't need to share. You have the option again, you can email, etc. And this is a good example where you do get the PDF online full text included as an attached file as well. Okay, and you'll get confirmation it's been sent through, and then share again. You have OneDrive and so on there. So for individual records as well, and also the download icon is there. And this means you can download the full text, or I've preferred metadata only. Again, Word is available as well. Okay. So again, the site tool is also there for direct export for this record. So again, whether you're viewing individual records, whether they're full text or just a bibliographic citation, you can still export the record, you can add it to a project and so on. And again, copy the citation if needed as well. And of course, we do support the printing if preferred, which may be your last resort. Okay, you can see, and there's also accessibility support, by the way. I may have showed this previously. So this is essentially for users with disabilities, and they can request alternative formats and so on. And you see Word is an option here. So we're viewing it in PDF, but Word is an option, as is HTML. Okay, and the same applies to online full text. You can also add that to the project as well. Okay, let's see. I think we've covered most of those things there. So again, tools menus. Again, you can see the various tools there. The site tool, which includes the export option. Add to project here. Again, that would add it to a project once you select that. The share option is there as well for OneDrive, Google Drive, and the download option. So each of these records has the same tools available, but obviously it may well be that you're using the option to, you know, save or download the complete listing results rather than individual records, which you or another colleague user may review later on. Make sure I've not missed any questions or comments here at this stage. Okay, so we're nearing, let's see, we've still got a few more minutes left. So again, as before, I remind you that, I'll just click new search here for now to go back to the landing page. We do have the help menu here on the left. Now, there may be institutions who are going to reconfigure this to a default help page inquiry form that you may have for your users, but by default at this moment in time, this interface is directing users to this quick start guide. So basically this is kind of like the main guide for using the interface. There are obviously frequent asked questions you may refer to. There's more information on the new interfaces and the release notes tutorial as well, and then for information on searching and browsing, managing multiple results and so on is all there as well. Searching help, using the dashboard, again, creating projects here, again, with step-by-step instructions and screenshots about setting those up. Okay, so again, that information is within the quick start guide. Okay, but I'm going to just stop sharing here, but I will go back to my PowerPoint here. Okay, so essentially just some take-home points really at this time before we get into the support materials that are available. You can save, download, or share results using the respective tools. Again, whether you're saving the complete listing of results or individual records, whether you're viewing the bibliographic citation or the full text, those are available. You can also save and download searches. And of course, these can be added to projects as well. So we've seen how to do that through the search history on the result list page and also the recent activity page, the search history there also. And also you can export individual records or up to 25,000 records from the result list. Again, that figure increases to 100,000 in a 24-hour period. So if you're working on other searches, then you obviously can use that multiple times, as it were. And then again, spend a lot of time on that, creating projects and adding searches and results to the projects. Again, differentiating different projects from other searches that you're doing so that you can keep up with the search itself and that recent iteration, and also the saved articles that you may want to forward on to colleagues, users, etc. And of course, you can use the available online help and also visit EBSCO Connect for more information. I have included some key documentation about using the bookmark feature, so saving records in the new interface, exporting records, and also saving searches and creating projects. And also there is a help sheet there on using the dashboard, so it gives you a review of those key features as well. And again, I just mentioned EBSCO Connect, which I'm sure most of you are very familiar with, and at connect.ebsco.com. So for more tutorials, information, and also links to EBSCO Academy, where you'll find more documentation, including videos as well, and future training. We do have, of course, the Healthcare Training Resources Portal. I know a number of you have seen this in the past in recent sessions, and that includes links to the EBSCO YouTube channel where we have the webinar recordings. So this will be edited and uploaded there, and also upcoming training sessions through my Calendly page as well. And also you can book a consultation with me if you need to run through some things as well. And then the support information will give you additional links to essentially healthcare database, help sheets, guides, etc. Okay, so we try to collate a lot of the documentation that's available in EBSCO Connect in one portal, specifically in support of healthcare customers, as it were, whether in the NHS or university sector, but you're supporting students, medical students, nursing students, you have healthcare modules in your organization, whatever, then there is a range of documentation related to the various databases on the EBSCO's interface, including CINAHL and MEDLINE, of course. So I am going to stop here. And of course, you can contact me directly at rcrooks@ebsco.com. So appreciate you coming today, and thank you.